So Mike Johnson, he's an interesting character, House Speaker. So he's very, very behind Trump. I mean, I guess that's like not unusual. He's not always with Trump though. He doesn't always align with Donald Trump. Mike Johnson splits with Trump on Epstein files cover-up. House Speaker Mike Johnson publicly split with Donald Trump over Jeffrey Epstein Tuesday by calling for Attorney General Pam Bondi to release all records related to the sex offender. And if you'll recall that incredible clip of Bondi being confronted on that, sitting next to Trump, he's like, "Why are we still talking about Epstein? What's with you guys? You guys are obsessed. What's going on with you guys? You guys really, really want to talk about Epstein? Jeez. You like Epstein so much, why don't you marry him? I don't even know what's going on with everybody." And then Pam Bondi's like, and he's like, "Do you want to answer that? Do you even want it? I mean, like, do you even want to answer that question? It's so boring. Like, you can answer, like, a different question if you want. You don't have to answer that. Answer whatever. Pick your own question." He really does not want people to talk about it. Hey, it's the Goblin Queen. We're here to learn about Donald Trump, superSPY. Yeah? Want to know about the new James Bond, the new what's another spy name? Guy Ritchie character? The new Robert Maxwell, if you will. The new superSPY Donald Trump. Oh, you haven't heard about how Donald Trump is a spy? Yeah. Someone leaked someone blew his cover. Is that what they call it? Yeah, that's right. Let's take a look at this from Allison in the Know. No idea who that is, but this is House Speaker Mike Johnson, Republican congressman, whatever speaker, and he's got some news. Okay, if you haven't heard this, I think like with the Epstein stuff, like a lot of it didn't make sense, but this really explains a lot of stuff. All right, let's check it out.
He's not saying that what Epstein...
Oh, that's really quiet, yeah? Hang on a second.
It is a hoax. It's a terrible...
Okay, it's really quiet. I turn it up like this.
He's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who have suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago. He's not saying...
Can you guys hear that? It feels like really quiet, even for me, but I don't know. Maybe my volume's just down. But this is Speaker Johnson, and that's the whole thing. But let's actually break this down. Let's break down what he's saying here. So as you guys may have heard, there's been some Epstein stuff in the news. Donald Trump has said a bunch of different stuff about it. At first he was like, "Why is everybody still talking about Epstein? Epstein's boring. It's over. Okay, stop trying to make the Epstein thing happen. It's not going to happen. Nobody thinks it's cool. Nobody likes it. Nobody thinks it's good." It's like, that was his first thing. He was like, why are you guys talking about this? And then he was like, he sort of moved now to being like, "Oh, it's a hoax. It's a hoax. The Epstein hoax." The exact same way he talks about Russia, by the way. The Russia hoax, the Epstein hoax, the Epstein-Russia hoax. And just a few days ago, this past week, I guess, there was a press conference on the steps of the Capitol building with Ro Khanna, Marjorie Taylor Greene, what's his name, Thomas Massie, I think, about the Epstein Files Transparency Act, I think it's called. Anyway, people are supposed to vote on this bill to like release the Epstein files, and Trump has made it known, or someone from Trump's team anyway, has made it known that like this will be considered a hostile act on him if you vote to release these files. Just like a real clusterfuck. I think what he's responding to now is how people are like, why is he calling it a hoax? And one thing during that press conference, a lot of the victims said, it's not a hoax. Why does Trump keep calling it a hoax? We are real people, which is pretty understandable, I think, if you could slightly imagine what it would be like to be in their position. That must be infuriating to hear. So Johnson was kind of responding to this kind of thing.
He's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax.
He's not saying it was a hoax. I mean, well, he literally is, though. He literally did say it was a hoax. He said this many times. Like, he's not saying the Epstein is a hoax. No, he is saying that. He calls it the Epstein hoax. That seems like pretty has referred to the ongoing controversy surrounding Jeffrey Epstein as a Democrat hoax. Very funny. Epstein hoax. Donald Trump says it's time to end Epstein hoax. That's one day ago. Epstein files hits a boiling point in Congress, dismissing the escalating national political furor as a Democrat hoax. This is last month. Trump calls Epstein controversy a hoax and bullshit. Okay, so he's not saying it's a hoax, because if he was trying to say that it wasn't a hoax, you would think he would use other words than, saying that it's a hoax and bullshit and calling it the Epstein hoax and saying it's a Democrat hoax. That I don't really know how else to read that. Maybe that's on me. But okay, so according to Mike Johnson, one of Trump's best friends, yeah, no, it's not a hoax. Don't be weird about it. He's not saying it's a hoax.
He's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago.
Okay. When he first heard the rumor that Epstein was, what we now know about Epstein, Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. And that was one of the two competing explanations for why Donald Trump and Epstein had a falling out in 2004. And it seems like this is real. It seems like after 2004, Trump and Epstein did not speak. They were done. The relationship, they made a clean break. So so there's been two explanations for a while. One was that they had an argument over a real estate deal, like a property, and another was over Trump found out that Epstein was recruiting people from Mar-a-Lago. And when I say recruiting, I mean he'd find underage girls at Mar-a-Lago, working at Mar-a-Lago, and he would bring them into his, pedophile trafficking network, whatever you want to call it. So yes, and Trump found out about this, and it was supposedly the daughter of a member of Mar-a-Lago, another rich guy that this happens to. And then Trump was like, you know what? No more. I'm putting my foot down. It was one thing when he was recruiting girls from outside of Mar-a-Lago. It's another thing when he does it to a guy or whatever. I mean, so obviously one of those explanations is very popular with people who don't like Trump, and one of them is extremely popular with people who are really into Epstein but are also really pro-Trump, the MAGA side of the, Epstein researcher base. But honestly, I don't know. It could be either one. I could see it going either way, I don't really think very much of Donald Trump at all, but I could see him if some of Epstein's antics is a weird way to refer to this, what he was doing. But if some of Epstein's antics were inconvenient for Trump with the other, rich guys he's trying to mingle with at Mar-a-Lago, I could see that being a reason why he would throw him out of the thing. So anyway, then just recently, just this past fucking 2 months ago or something like that, Trump said that they asked him, why did you fall out with Epstein? And he said, oh, it's because he was stealing people from me. It wasn't even I found out he was a child molester. No. He was stealing people who worked for me. He was poaching my employees. It's what? Oh, that makes you sound way worse. No, that's not the worst possible thing. It's why wouldn't you just go with the one that makes you sound like a hero a little bit? So that's the newest one, and that's from Trump. Crazy. Very crazy. Oh, that's funny, DM Collins. After the last live thing, I shared the Epstein list you shared on my Facebook page. It was the first time my MAGA cousin has liked one of my posts in years. I mean, Epstein is the great unifier in a way in our divided country right now. When the fuck have Ro Khanna and Marjorie Taylor Greene done a press conference together? Never. But they did one this week about releasing the Epstein files. It's this is something that people care about. But okay, no. Okay, so I guess let's keep going with this. So I guess when Trump said that he was poaching people from him, he was actually wrong or lying or something, or still trying to run cover for his past. But no, apparently that is why he kicked them out. So then he goes on. I'll go back a little bit.
When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI.
First heard the rumor, kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. And also, if you look at there's a book, The Grifters Club, about Mar-a-Lago. These guys, in their book, they went to Mar-a-Lago and they looked at the membership lists and everything. And they found that Epstein had been a member of Mar-a-Lago until 2008. So that also doesn't make sense, because it does seem like they stopped hanging out in 2004. And they had a massive fight over real estate. Personally, I lean more towards the real estate end of things, but who knows? Okay, so he kicked him out when he heard about it. When he heard he was a bad guy, he kicked him out. Okay.
He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down.
He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. What? Wait a second. He kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago because he was so mad that he was, abusing children. And he was an FBI informant to try to take this thing down. This thing, I guess, meaning like, elite billionaire pedophiles.
Take this stuff down.
This stuff down.
He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down.
That's crazy that he said this. Like, so okay, so like let's play out the tape. Okay, let's run out the tape here. Let's see if this makes sense. That means that Trump has been hanging out with Epstein from 1987 approximately until 2004, roughly. They're photographed together, they're filmed together, they're constantly seen together. They go to all these model events, modeling shows or fashion shows, really creepy to models together. They date the same people, like right after each other. Epstein will date him first and then Trump will date him. There's lots of like crossover between them for like, how long is that? 2004, 1987? That's like 17 years. So that whole time, Trump was just doing it to get closer to Epstein and to learn about him as part of an FBI something or other. Now, during that time, during the 90s, women are coming forward. We've got the Farmers, Maria and Annie Farmer came forward in like 94 or something like that about him to the FBI. FBI did nothing. Then in 2004, Trump, who was a spy, who was an FBI informant, he was an informant to the FBI. And in 2004, he was still informing the FBI, and he found out that Epstein, something in Mar-a-Lago, and then he kicked him out of the thing. Like, I don't know how both of those things can be true, but okay. So Trump spent like 17 years gathering intel on Epstein, gave it to the FBI, and it was because of this intel that the FBI had that they were able to really throw the book at Epstein. And in 2009, I think it was that when he finally went to jail after the trial? 2009, he went to jail for, I think, just over 12 months. And he had a type of thing where he got to leave the jail for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And a lot of times he would just leave and stay overnight. And he would leave and he'd get on his plane and he'd fly away. And the prison guards who were supposed to be guarding him, even when he was at home and stuff, they didn't refer to him as a prisoner. They referred to him as a client. I would love to see Johnson here break this down. Like, I want to see the strings. I want to see the bulletin board, the cork board with the red strings and the pins and the maps and the Polaroids and everything. Like, I want to see the crazy board, because how can, like, this doesn't even make sense with the previous sentence that he said. He's like, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. If he had evidence of him doing that shit, why would he kick it? And he was trying to get close to him. Why would he kick him out of Mar-a-Lago? Why wouldn't he be like, great, now we can really get, like, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, sorry. I'll hear him out.
FBI informant to try to take this stuff down.
Crazy.
The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who have suffered these unspeakable harms.
He knows and has great sympathy for the women, okay?
It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago. And he's not.
So, like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I notice, especially when I'm, like, editing my streams, I, like, talk off the top of my head on these. It's, like, very different from what I'm used to on, like, video essays where I get to type everything up ahead of time or whatever, read from a teleprompter. And sometimes I'm just, like, bullshitting. Sometimes I say stuff and I get facts wrong and I get whatever. And I mean, like, I have to assume that that's what he's doing here. But my God, what an insane thing to say. What a crazy, like, thing here. Yeah, informant seems to imply that Don got serious compromise on him, right? Why would Don work with the feds unless they had serious stuff on him? You mean like an FBI informant? I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that, but yeah, it could mean like Trump got caught in like another criminal sting and they're like, you're going to jail, buddy, unless you can give us someone else who's like even worse. That could be. But yeah, so Trump's a CI. Trump's a snitch. I mean, snitches are bad. But if you're a snitch on Epstein, I feel like then that's totally fine. That's actually good. That's a good type of snitch to be. Yeah, absolutely insane. So Mike Johnson, he's an interesting character. Back, when was this? July. Mike Johnson here, same guy, House Speaker. He told the press that he does not plan to allow votes on any measures related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. Let me zoom in there for you guys. In the House's final week in Washington before a weeks-long recess, despite intense pressure from some of his own GOP members to go on the record on the issue. So he's very, very behind Trump. I mean, I guess that's like not unusual since he's the House Speaker, majority, whatever it's called. This is from, when is this from? July 22nd. Johnson cuts short House business to avoid vote on releasing Epstein files. Like, he's like doing shit to like he's like, we're going to be voting on this? Hiya! Like, you know, like pocket sand. He's like, here we go. No vote. Actually, we're ending early today. I guess we'll take up the Epstein files vote on the 12th of never. Yeah. So this is the guy. We're done being lectured on transparency. Bold stance. Bold stance. Where the typically unflappable speaker appeared frustrated. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe he's unflappable. I don't know. Maybe he's like, people in Washington think he's like a typical politician. This guy seems like above average, like weird and stupid just because to go with this particular thing. It's such a desperate move. I mean, I don't know. I don't think people are going to believe it. Even like Trump's base, it just doesn't make sense. And he's not always with Trump, though. He doesn't always align with Donald Trump. There's also stuff like this. Mike Johnson splits with Trump on Epstein files cover-up. This was from, I think this is from August. This is 1 month ago. Wait, no, July. Okay, so even before that. House Speaker Mike Johnson publicly split with Donald Trump over Jeffrey Epstein Tuesday by calling for Attorney General Pam Bondi to release all records related to the sex offender. And if you'll recall that incredible clip of Bondi being confronted on that, sitting next to Trump, he's like, why are we still talking about Epstein? What's with you guys? You guys are obsessed. What's going on with you guys? You guys really, really want to talk about Epstein. Jeez. If you like Epstein so much, why don't you marry him? I don't even know what's going on with everybody. And then Pam Bondi's like, and he's like, do you want to answer that? Do you even want it? I mean, like, do you even want to answer that question? It's so boring. Like, you can answer like a different question if you want. You don't have to answer that. Answer whatever. Pick your own question. He really does not want people to talk about it. And so Mike Johnson, I guess this is this is on Benny Johnson's podcast. It's a very delicate subject, but we should put everything out there and let the people decide. Pam Bondi needs to come forward and explain it to everybody. I like Pam. I mean, I think she's done a good job. We need the DOJ focusing on major priorities, so let's get this thing resolved. So this was during the period where like the strategy from a lot of people, not Trump, but the strategy from a lot of like people behind Trump was to be like, yo, let's just blame everything on Pam Bondi. Let's blame everything on Pam Bondi. And this is when he was like, we would love to give you guys the client list, but what's wrong with Pam Bondi? And it turned out like Trump actually likes Pam Bondi and wasn't going to throw her under the bus. So yeah, crazy. Very, very crazy. I think there are plenty of other big Republican donors that Johnson is eager to protect. Who do you like? Yeah, maybe you may be right. I'm not sure. I think like looking through to the Finland station, you're very familiar with this case. Would you say, like, could you name any like big Republican donors that would look bad? Like, because my basic kind of like knowledge of the people in like the Black Book and the people we know were connected to Epstein and the people who have been accused of sexual assault in conjunction with Epstein, you know, people who Epstein trafficked women to allegedly, they're mostly Democrats, like except for Donald Trump. Like it's like, I mean, there are some exceptions, but I guess donors is a good point though, as opposed to like politicians, because I think the politicians are mostly Democrats, but donors, I mean, there's just like a lot of wealthy people who donate to both parties, certainly to Republicans. Thiel, maybe, I'm not sure how close Thiel and Epstein were. I mean, we have like those Ehud Barak email leaks where Ehud Barak and Epstein were like coordinating in order to like get funding from Thiel. And we have that, what was it called? Some fucking nerd name for another company, not Palantir, not Mithril. What was it? Some other teal company that like Epstein made millions of dollars off of something he did. I don't know. But I think like a play that you may actually see the Republicans do, like if Trump dies, God forbid, if something should happen to Trump, I feel like, I mean, I don't know. This is total speculation, but I feel like the Republicans would have not a lot to lose by releasing the Epstein files. I'm sure they're like, donors is a good point, but like overall, Republicans already have a base that is deluded enough to think that like all Democrats are Satan worshiping pedophiles, and to feed into that belief with like some actual Democrat people who abuse children would be like it could almost end the Democrat Party if they played it, in the smartest possible way. So yeah, I think that they're definitely trying to protect Trump, and I think that Trump is trying to protect himself, and people who are close to Trump want to protect him. But if Trump wasn't a factor, I imagine that there would not be a lot to lose from their perspective. But I could be wrong. But yeah, so interesting. This guy, Mike Johnson. Was he on a Benny Johnson's podcast? Benny Johnson. No relation. Yeah. So very interesting. Also, you can see Mike Johnson and Pam Bondi are red here because I have my automatic highlighter. That means that they get AIPAC money, or not AIPAC, but like the same sort of like interest groups as AIPAC. There's J Street and other kind of like Israel lobby. Yeah, that's what that red is. And then the yellow ones with the red on top is Epstein connections. Anyway, guys, yeah, weird. So I guess Trump is who would have known? Trump was a super spy.